lookalikes and interest groups. How does detailed targeting actually work in Facebook? Let's cover interest groups first, because I get DMs every single day from people saying, well, broad doesn't work and interest groups do. And by the way, there's a whole video, if you want to take a look at it on the channel, why broad doesn't work. And I want to debunk every reason that people say broad doesn't work, and let's explain every single one of them so that you can then say, okay, that's true, but it's actually not real. And we can get into all of that. There's a whole video just for that. Check it out. There's a blog on the site for it. I got an ebook up on the site as well, facebookdisruptor.com. Go check it out. All of that being said, let's dive in deeper. Interest groups were invented in 2012 by Facebook to copy affinity audiences on Google. At the time, Facebook ads were this really bizarre new thing that most brands didn't want to touch. TikTok today is 1,000 times better than Facebook ads were in 2012. And that's when interest groups were invented. And they were done to also help advertisers on other platforms adopt Facebook ads. Like, oh, okay, I'm used to using this. I know how this works. They made it really easy for people to come on board and use this new technology, this new option, and spend their money in Facebook. Now, the way that interest groups work, and I say worked, past tense, because Facebook hasn't actually developed any developer resources. They haven't invested in the update of interest groups since 2017, 2018. Like, the majority of people that I know that are spending 1,000, 10,000, or 1,000,000 on a monthly basis started using ads after Facebook stopped supporting interest groups. Remember, you are using very old technology designed to solve a problem that doesn't exist anymore. Interest groups were invented to get people who were comfortable using Google to use Facebook with an audience that made sense. Now, how interest groups work is that they see that you're interested in something, that you're talking about something. There is a false belief that this means that you care about something in a positive way. Let me ask you this. When you go to a restaurant and you have a really good experience, it's a B+ work. How many people do you tell about, oh, I had a good time there, I might go back? Versus when you go and you have like the worst experience, how many people do you tell that it was terrible? Facebook is saying, well, if you're talking about it, you're interested in it. It has nothing to do with positive or negative sentiment. And you see this a lot also in sports and in lifestyle, and especially in politics. The less you like something, but the more you talk about it, the more you are in the interest group, because Facebook knows you want to see content pertaining to that topic, whether or not you actually like it. You might be a cat person. You got 3 cats and you're very happy about them and you love them and you are just anti-dog. And anytime somebody talks to you about it, you're like, no, 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 no. Cats rule, dogs drool, blah, blah, blah. If you talk about dogs all the time, you're in the dog's interest group because you're interested in them. Now, mind you, I'm a dog owner. I don't have cats in the house, so I talk about dogs just as much as somebody that doesn't like them. Share pictures of my dogs. But I might talk about the dogs that I own less than somebody who is a cat person and hates dogs talks about dogs on the internet. And it's not just what you talk about. It's the websites you go to. It's the videos that you're watching. If you are very supportive of one political ideology and very anti another one, some of the most engaging content for you is going to be stuff that talks poorly about the positions that you don't hold. You're in that interest group. As an example, you might be maybe you are a Democrat that is extraordinarily opposed to the GOP. Any bit of news about how the Republican Party has done some other thing, you're interested in. You're in that interest group. But if I'm selling stuff that's like guns or religion or military affiliated, I'm going to hit everybody that is interested in the Republican Party. And because you're interested, you're going to see my ads. Now, the problem here that we got to get to is that means that probably more than half of that audience, minimum half of those people, don't want to see your content. They don't want to buy what you're selling. But you're paying extra money to make sure those people see it. Or at least that they're in the audience of folks that could be exposed to what you're selling. Now, the interest group audiences are also by no means 100% accurate. Recent studies have shown that at best, they might be 33% or more completely inaccurate. Remember, the technology hasn't been updated for many, many years. More than likely, the last time an actual team at Facebook worked on updating the tech of how an interest group functions was before you spent your first dollar on Facebook ads. Think about all the time and years you might have put into this. Facebook stopped caring about it and started telling people to stop using it before you got started. Now, we do see interest groups can work for people, and that's great. And there's a whole thing about broad and all of that stuff. But we also have to remember that there's something else about interest groups. They're dynamic. Lookalikes are the same way, by the way. They update regularly. That audience changes. Now, depending on the volume of data, it might change once a week, it could change once a month, etc. But if you were in that interest group a year and a half ago, do you think you're still in it? Probably not. Matter of fact, I know you're not. But my point is, you might have talked about something 6 years ago a lot on your Instagram account. Do you think Facebook thinks you're interested in that topic now, even though you haven't posted about it since 2017? No. So at what point do you get booted from that interest group? Well, it's actually far more common than you might think. And where this really causes harm is when Facebook's trying to curate customer journeys. If that person isn't in that group anymore, I might have spent money and time to give you 3 or 4 impressions or test ads against you, and then all of a sudden you're gone. How much money are you spending trying to curate customer journeys and doing testing for people that aren't there when you're ready to scale? There's a reason these audiences are highly unstable. They're also smaller and they're more expensive, so they're far less scalable. Now, to touch base for a second, lookalike groups work the same way, but they're using data that you have. Now, we already know ads make their own lookalike based on who responds positively to them and takes actions that we're optimizing towards. But you might say, I want to find, and I see this all the time, I'm going to find people that look like those that have, viewed products on my page. Is that what you want to focus on? If Facebook knows that somebody's viewing products on your page and taking further actions and signing up and doing leads and all that stuff, and they know that down to the actual ad unit, does it help you to ultimately focus those ads very specifically on other actions? Some of it's scalable, some of it isn't. And watch the video on why broad doesn't work to dig down way deeper into how this functions. I just want you to know that much like interest groups don't work the way that you've been taught, and they're incredibly dynamic and lack the ability to scale, lookalikes have the same problem. That's why at best, these should be used in addition to broad, but never where you start from. Lookalike groups at best are predictive. If you want more questions on this, please ask below. Let me know if you want more information on it. Sign up for the newsletter to get way more stuff like this, and don't be shy.